Welcome to Shul.com. We are learning Hanukkah BeSiyon. It is the book of Hacham BeSiyon Mutzafi, and we are reading Ma'aseh. What did Hacham Salman Mutzafi do on the holiday of Hanukkah? So we're up to Tefilat HaHorim al Yaldehim. Live, Lamed Bet, Shamati, Mimur Avi. I heard from my father Hacham Salman. Al Hanagat Imo Hasadeket, on his mother Aleha Shalom. Shepam Achat Sham'a Darsha Shemodenu Rabbi Yosef Hayim Alav Shalom B'Baghdad. She heard one time from the Ben Ish Hai himself. He gave a unbelievable ma'amar that a person who eats bread that is fully baked, it helps a person in order to have a remembrance in his mind. But if the bread is not properly baked, it does not help for memory or for wisdom. And from that day forward, she would come early in the morning, early in the morning before the alot, it's still dark outside. She would prepare all of the dough early in the morning. She would put it on a copper plate. And she would put the copper tray on top of her head. She would go to the central bakery where the large ovens are. 10-minute walk with this thing on her head. She knew that in that place it would get properly baked. She would go to the oven. She would not stop from praising Hashem and saying different perakim tehillim. She would say, Ribbono shel olam, the Ribbon of all of the world, the Master of the world. Zakeni sheyeh beni Salman, please merit me that my son Salman will be Talmid Hacham. Sheyeh Oved Hashem, he would worship God. Sheyeh Baal Midot Tovot, he should have good midot. Utfilah zo hishpia rabot, and this prayer had a tremendous value. Ma she'en anu yicholim kelal leshaer, we cannot understand how much those prayers help. Sheledibur hayotzem mipi ha'adam, because the words that come out of a man's mouth, yesh lo hashpa'ah gedolah, it has a big hashpa'ah, va'atzuma, and great. But olamot ha'edonim, in the highest worlds, shepeh Hashem medaber devarim kedushim elu, that the mouth that said all these holy things, katav HaZohar HaKadosh, in Tzav, Daf Lamed Aleph, Amud Bet, and in other places, ve'od, shehevid piv ola lamala, that the vapor of the mouth goes up, v'hamalachim motzi'im et el hapoal et oto hadibur, and the malachim do what the people say. It's especially true if someone is careful with his mouth. If he's careful in not speaking in shul, not speaking lashon hara, then his words become even stronger. And so a person has to be careful. And here, the tefillah of the horim on the iladim, how much it was mashpia on them. Va'ani hadal be'alfei Yisrael zachurani be'mei yalduti be'yehudi tam be'yashar sadiq ve'kadosh me'ole paras shegar b'Yerushalayim. He says, I remember there was a Parsi guy in Yerushalayim be'machsan liyad hashuk b'shchonat ha'Bukharim. That was his name. I guess he had a wagon. It was broken, old, falling apart. In order to carry people. He would put on it all different things. And he'd take those things from place to place. Or he would do delivery for vegetables. And there were a lot of days he had no work. So he would sit in shul. He would read Tehillim. He would read the Zohar. And he would just cry. He would cry and put tears into the tefillot. And he would stand by the Aron HaKodesh and cry מתחנן לפני אבינו שבשמיים על בניו, in order that his children should follow the Torah mitzvot and ma'asim tovim, שילכו בדרך Hashem, and follow the ways of God. ומסתעד ובוכה, and he would have pain and cry עליהם, שיהיה ליבם פתוח בתורה, that their heart should be open in the Torah and see the sweetness of the Torah. וזכה שכמה מנכדיו ובניהם עוסקים היום בתורה, and some of his grandchildren and his children are osik in the Torah today. Umidei zichri zot hamu me'aylo. In Tamud Ayin, he brings down Misirut harav the Talmidav. Okay, now he goes to Lamed Gimel. Va'agav, הדברים העוסקים בדאגה ומסירות לחינוך ושמירת הבנים, אביא בזה מעשה המלמדנו מסירות נפש של גדולי ישראל למען תלמידיהם בצאן מרעיתם. לפני למעלה מ-40 שנה, before 40 years, אירע המעשה בישיבת פורת יוסף. There was something that happened in פורת יוסף, a מעשה, a story. באותה תקופה הנהלת הישיבה הייתה מצירי צעדי החכמים במניעת החזקה הכספית. He said that the yeshiva הייתה מצירה צעדי החכמים במניעת החזקה הכספית. ופעם אחת הורו על סגירת חדר האוכל בו היו אוכלים מסכנים. They were having issues with money, being able to collect money, and they decided to close the cafeteria. העניים והיתומים בבני ישיבה, they were very poor people, they were orphans in the yeshiva, והיו כמה מהם שמאכלם היחיד במשך היום כולו היה בארוחה שהוגשה בישיבה. Some of them, the only meal they had was whatever they ate in the yeshiva. And they were learning all day and sitting all day. The rabbis of the yeshiva could not see that they were suffering. And when I was a young boy, BeSiyon Mutzafi saying, Bati el-Mor ha-Gaon, Rabbi BeSiyon Abba Shaul. So he went when he was young to BeSiyon Abba Shaul, B'She'altib, Ma lasot benidun. What do you do here? Rabbeinu hargi'ani meda'agati. בשלף מכיסו סכום כסף גדול ונתנו בידי וביד חברי. He gave us both a tremendous amount of money. Cham BeSiyon Abba Shaul gave to Cham BeSiyon Mutzafi and his friend. וביקש שנקנה מנות פלפל עבור הנזקקים. Oh, falafel. He said that he would go buy for them some falafel for the people so they can eat. Nice falafel with tahine, the hummus, with the whole pita. So Cham BeSiyon Abba Shaul helped Cham BeSiyon Mutzafi to eat. Halachnu ani v'chaverai el tzaddik Rabbi Shlomo Habshush. So they went to the Rabbi Habshush, zichrono levrcha, shaya ba'al hanut falafel. He had the falafel store. B'rchov Malchi Yisrael begeula, b'zachur hu letov, shaya ba'al hesed gadol ve'ozet aniyim. He was a big ba'al hesed helping the poor people. His manu mimenu kimatayim kadure falafel. We ordered from 200 bowls of falafel. שיהיו מוכנים לאחר כשעה לקראת זמן ארוחת הערב. That right after the time of dinner, they'll all be ready. עוד הלכנו את חנות המכולת. We went to the supermarket וקנינו כ100 פיתות ריקות וכמה קילוגרמים של עגבניות. So he went, they bought a bunch of pita bread and some tomatoes, melafonim, and also cucumbers. We went back to yeshiva. When we got there, kibel et panenu morenu v'Rabbeinu Chacham BeSiyon. When we got there, Chacham BeSiyon saw us. Zichrono levrcha. Miyad lakach me'itanu et ha'matzrechim. He took from us all the stuff. Ve'amad ve'hechin be'atzmo et manot ha'falafel b'zirut atuma. He himself, Cham BeSiyon Abba Shaul, he was the one inside putting the falafels inside the bread so the people can eat. לאחר שגמר להכין כל מנה, when he finished each and every מנה, הלך והגישה לאחד מהנזקקים והורה לו להתיישב לאכול. And then he went to one of the people there and he told him to sit down and eat. וכך עשה עם כל המצרכים. And he made sure everybody there ate. ולא רצה רבנו לקבל מאיתנו תלמידיו שום עזרה כלל. אלא הכל עשה לבדו. And he didn't want anyone to help him. He wanted to do it all himself. חם BeSiyon Abba Shaul. ממעשה זה אנו לומדים על דאגת הגדולים והחכמים לקטנים מהם. It shows you how the real true gedolim and the hachamim, they cared for the small people. That's what made them gedolim, because they cared for ketanim. Because if you don't care for ketanim, you cannot be a gadol. The biggest gedolim, they did many things. One of the things that they cared. And this shows you the unbelievable level of Cham BeSiyon Abba Shaul. This was the gedolim, that the gedolim made sure to always care for the ketanim and to always care for them. And this is why we call them gedolim, is because they cared for everyone in Klal Yisrael. And here Cham BeSiyon Abba Shaul didn't take a moment, didn't let anybody help. He wanted to make sure he did the whole mitzvah by himself. And this is how everybody should be with their children and their students. That you should show your students that you care when they reach out. Care for them. Are you thinking about them? Of course, your children. And when the students see that the rabbi cares and he pays attention, it affects them. That when the students start to be moshech out to the rabbi and towards the rabbi, and to follow in his ways. ועוד למדנו שתמיד העדיפו גדולי ישראל לעסוק בחסד ובמצוות בעצמם ללא שליחים ועוזרים. And we also see from the gedolim that whenever it came to mitzvot, they never passed the buck. They always did it themselves. Amud Pei Dalet. Tefilot Yemei Hanukkah. Okay, so he says here, Hagayat Hamila Harsha'a Be'al Hanisim. Okay, so let's take a look. That's when it says Malchut Harish'ah. He's talking about that in the Al Hanisim. Lamed Dalet. Ra'iti v'shamati lemoravi. I heard from my father, shebenusach Tefilat Al Hanisim haya omer Harsha'a Shin Bekamatz. Okay, וכן שמעתי לרבנו BeSiyon אבא שאול ז"ל, וכן שמעתי למרן רבנו עובדיה יוסף, בבית כנסת הגדול שהיה עובר שם לפני התיבה בהנסח המה, וכתבתי במקום מפה קודשו. Okay, that's Amud Shin Chav Zayin that he brings it in. So he said, let's take a look at the Sidur, Avodat Hashem. Let's see what they did there in the Amidah and how it looks in regards to it. בימי מתתיהו בן יוחנן כהן גדול, חשמונאי בנם כשעמדה מלכות יוון הרשעה. So what does he say here? He says Shin bekamatz. Okay, so it has it the same in the Sidur. Good. Okay, smicha al shulchan be'amirat ha'halel. Okay. למד ה' היה מור אבי ז"ל נזהר ומזהיר לסובביו שבשעת קריאת ההלל לא יסמוך גופו על השולחן או כיסא וכדומה אלא יעמוד זקוף לגמרי. That when you do the Hallel in praise of Hashem, you do it standing up, don't lean on anything. קדיש אחר קריאת התורה בראש חודש טבת. למד ו' מעשה היה בראש חודש טבת, it was on the ראש חודש שהתפללתי בהשכמה, I prayed early, עם מרן פאר הדור רבנו עובדיה יוסף. I was praying with the Gaon, the Gadol Chacham Obadja. והזמין אותי כמנהגו תמיד ביום ראש חודש לעלות שלישי. And he invited me to go up for the aliyah of שלישי. וסיימתי קריאת ראש חודש והבטתי בפניו. I finished reading the Rosh Chodesh and I looked at him. ורמז לי לא לומר קדיש. And he told me, don't say קדיש. והוא עלה מיד אחרי רביעי לקריאת הנשיאים. Then he went up after to read the נשיאים. וסיימו ארבעת העולים חובת היום בקרא קדיש. And then he went up and did the קדיש. עמוד שין סדי. עמידת שיר של יום בחנוכה. למד זין. אמר לי מור אבי, חם סלמן תות, כי הן נודע על פי הקבלה. וכן כתבו מרנה הרשש, זכותו יגנן בהרב תורת חכם ועוד, שאנחנו מתקנים בכל יום על ידי התפילות ולימוד התורה, בקיום המצוות, בשני מסלולים, בהם האחד פרצוף הימים, השייך לימי השבוע לחודש, החודש בשנה, השנה ב10 שנים, ו10 במאה, ומאה באלף. He says that there's different types of tikkunim of each day. The parzuf, the face of the yamim, the days to the week, the weeks to the month to the year, the years to a year to the 10-year span, the 10-year to the 100-year span, and the 100-year to the 1,000-year span. Then there's also a face of the times of the holidays of the year, according to the months. Hakayitz, Hachoref, Hashana, Hashmita, Vahayovel. That is of the summer and the winter, the year, the Shemitah, and the Jubilee year. ובשניהם יחד מתקנים במקביל. They both together have תיקונים together. אלא שבימי השנה הרגילים התיקון הוא בפרצוף הימים. During the year, a person has a תיקון of what's called פרצוף הימים. ופרצוף הזמנים, the פרצוף of the times, נתקן מאליו. They get fixed in and of their own. ואילו במועדים, when it comes to holidays, מתקנים בפרצוף הזמנים. The מועדים, they get fixed with the פרצוף of the זמן, ופרצוף הימים, the parsuf of days nitkan me'elav. Hamoram le'inyanenu, ki shir shel yom mitaken beparsuf hayamim. The shir of the day that you say, from like that the Levim used to say in the Beit HaMikdash, is for the parsuf of the yamim. Be'et shomer hayom yom peloni beShabbat kodesh. ואילו במועדים משתנים התפילות וכן השיר שייך לאותו מועד. ובימי חול המועד בראשי חודשים ובחנוכה ובפורים ובמותרים במלאכות מסוימות אנחנו אומרים את שני המזמורים, האחד של היום והשני של המועד. So he said on Rosh Chodesh, on Hanukkah, on Purim, which are mutarim b'melachot hamesuyamot, we do the two mizmorim, the mizmor of the day, and we also do the mizmor of the holiday. הקדמת מזמור ברכי נפשי למזמור שיר חנוכת הבית בתפילת ראש חודש טבת. Okay, so in למד ח' בספר אבו דרהם, in ימי חנוכה כתב, וזה לשונו, ואם הוא ראש חודש וחנוכה, קוראים תחילה ברכי נפשי את השם, תהילים פרק ק"ד, ואחר כך מזמור שיר חנוכת הבית לדוד, שם פרק למד. תדיר, שאינו תדיר קודם. If something is of value, of a main value and a lower value, take the bigger value. כמו שאמרנו, like we said, עד כאן לשונו. וכן נהג מור אבי, this is what Salman Mutzafi did, וכן חזיתה, למאור עינינו מרן יביע עומר, and that's what we saw the מרן do, חמה וג'ה. כשהייתי מתפלל בבית הכנסת שבביתו, when I prayed in his house, מדי יום ראש חודש. On Rosh Chodesh, so he clearly did both. עמוד שין מם ג' תענית עשרה בטבת, the fast of עשרה בטבת, שמחה ונישואין בליל התענית. Let's say you want to do a simcha, a happy event, or an engagement, or marriage. המנהג להקל לערוך הנישואין בליל התענית. On the night of the ta'anit, you could do it. The night of the ta'anit is the night before the ta'anit. בשירים ובמחולות, with music and במחולות, וכן היה המנהג בישיבת פורת יוסף, that's what they did in פורת יוסף, ולא היה פוצה הפה ומצפצף. There was no issue with it. עמוד תו יוד. שונות. ברכה לדובש בגד חדש. ברכה, and you wear a new garment. מם. מור אבי היה מזהיר מאוד למי שדובש בגד חדש. Salman would be very careful for those who wore a new garment. לברכו תבלה ותחדש. He would tell them, ברכה תביט מנחה שבלו כנהוג תתחדש. He wouldn't say tithadesh, meaning you go and do it. It goes tivle v'tithadesh. He changed the text of the word. ובאש חדש, כשאומר תתחדש, when you say to someone תתחדש, כאילו משמע שיסתלק מהעולם ויבוא בגלגול מחדש חס ושלום עמוד ו'. So he said, don't do it in the capacity of telling someone tithadesh, go and go become new. No, it says tevale v'tehadesh. Use it that way. The difference is saying the two tavs, tithadesh, rather say tevale v'tehadesh, or just say mazal tov or beracha v'haslacha or something of that, but don't say the word tithadesh. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.